Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's July 6, 2025. It's a hot, muggy day today. Both Thea and I are, Thea's feeling ill, under the weather. She's actually gone over to urgent care to get some medications as well. And so she's out of it for right now. We've both been pushing it pretty hard, trying to get all the things we can get done. And since it's going to be a hot and muggy day, I thought what I'd do is just spend a couple times spend my time working inside and catching up on paperwork and research that I've got to do as well. But one of the things I wanted to do today was to address one of the questions that I commonly get about living fences, farmscaping, hedgerows, those sorts of things. So we're going to talk a little bit about living fences today, since I had a question recently about, geez, what sort of living fence plantings would I plant or design to keep Dexter cattle, cows and bulls, as well as newborn lambs, on one side of a fence and all. But I thought what I'd talk about first is farmscaping. Farmscaping is one of the overall design systems that we incorporate here at Mindful Living Sanctuary. Oh, and the article that I posted about living fences, hedgerows, and farmscaping is at mindfullivingsanctuary.com/articles. So you can go and read that, as well as other articles I've written. So when I think about farmscaping, that incorporates living fences, it incorporates hedgerows, it incorporates cover crops, it incorporates building soil, so a whole variety of things. And when I think about living fences, I'm thinking about, well, the functions are, it might be a wind barrier, might be a drift. We're in snow country here, so it helped to control where the drifts are actually going to be. It can be a nice visual barrier, it can be a shade, it can be a whole variety of things is what a living fence can be. But it's also a purposely designed system that can be a barrier to keep animals or to keep people on one side, for privacy, for shade, a whole variety of functions. And when we think about hedgerows, those are a kind of a linear or serpentine planting system that can increase biodiversity, create habitats, enrich the soil. It can also act somewhat like a fence as well, but it can also be a nutrient supply for your household as well. And farmscaping incorporates living fences, hedgerows, and a whole variety of other things that we've been talking about for years here on our website, on our YouTube channel. So right now I'm in between two linear rows, and I'm sorry, everything here in Doge, of hazelnuts. So these are plants that we sell, we plant here. These are a hybrid type of hazelnut, and it's great food for the wildlife. It's good for pollinators. It actually can be a visual barrier. It can be a windbreak. Now these are deciduous, so they're going to lose their leaves in the fall and all, but they're a really interesting plant that provide a wonderful resource for wildlife and a resource for us as well. So it's good food for us. You can make flour out of it. You can roast your nuts. It's just one of those amazing food sources. They really do like full sun, and this isn't really a living fence, but it could be part of a living fence. So in other words, if I wanted to plant other trees in there, now they don't like the shade as much. So with these shade trees here, you see the hazelnuts stay of course here's part of the willow branches down right here. You see where there's shady areas, we have much less robust growth. Do they still produce nuts and all? Yes, but not as well as you see in the sunny area. So whenever you're thinking about living fences or hedgerows or farmscaping, you want to think about the soil that's there, the water table. Like, these don't require anything. And you'd see there's some red maples behind here, and you could see just how tall these hazelnuts can get when they're getting full sun here. And again, they can get lots and lots of beautiful nuts and all. No way we could ever harvest all of these. And they are a small nut, so they aren't as much, they're more labor intensive. But I like them, and they can be a component to a hedgerow or a living fence. So we'll take a ride down, probably down, I think we'll go down to where the black locust trees are now. Bear with me for 1 second here. It is a hot one today. A lot more work's got to be done over here, but that's the beginning of the third food forest up in that area over there. Those are Concord grapes and all the diversity of different trees over there. Come over here. Pond 2 is right there. And here we got pecans and apples, persimmons in this area here. You can see the deer have done damage. I haven't gotten to pruning. They reach up there, get up on their hind legs and enjoy life. Some pears, some cherries. A lot of different varieties of our apples here. Right here is a thornless honey locust that I planted 20, gosh, time flies so much. It's probably 25 years now, and all right, so I thought I guess I could get out right here. So I probably, let me see this. I think I planted this one in 2003 as about a 6-foot tree, and this and that one over there, you may be able to see this. So there's 2 of these Shade Master honey locust trees, and I think I had 3, but I originally had them right down in here, and the property really dropped off, just like our neighbor's property here drops off quite a bit. We'll get back over here in a few minutes, but you can see it really drops off, and I wanted to build this up to, and there's a swale system there, to keep all the water on our property. So that's a honey locust. Maybe it's 30 years old at the most, but I transplanted that one, each of these, twice with my excavator. So they were over here providing nice shade here, but it was much lower here. There's many probably 1,000 dump trailer loads of wood chips that helped me build up this area here. And we'll get to this living fence here in a few minutes. So these are Shade Master honey locust trees. But they've got a really big canopy up there. They give a very diffuse shade. They're wonderful for cooling your environment in an area like this. It makes it, as they get older, they're really fantastic. But we'll go over here. So this is my row of black locust trees, and recently I showed that I had pruned it. I had to come through here with Elon and pull out a main limb of one of my curly willows. So that's a curly willow or corkscrew willow there that I grew this way. This was one of my original ones. We had 3 of them. We start off as little hardwood cuttings, and they grew up, and then I learned I didn't want them to grow up as a bush, and I've talked about that before. But then, I'm guessing 15 years ago, I'm so sorry that I just can't remember times. My life just goes on, and I tackle each thing as I can along the way. But these ones here were probably around 2010, I'm guessing I put this in. So all this property really dropped off. So on the other side, let's see if we can see in here. There's a 6-7 foot drop off right here. So the old stone wall was right here. And when we dug out this pond, we piled all of the gravel and sandy material, bony gravel, sandy material up here on top of the stone wall. And terrible, terrible soil to grow anything in. But as time went on, and as we gradually worked with this and took more soil, because this is the pond 5, which is a real leaky pond, we put more and more of that soil up on top of here, and then I put wood chips on top of it as well. So we got the soil to start to come back, and then I planted the black locust trees here. And I've tried to prune them every couple of years, but this is a living fence, and this could be planted much more densely than I've got it. But I planted it this way because the property drops way off, way down over here. I don't know, it's so hard to show on the camera, but there's a 6-7 foot drop off right here, and then the property of our neighbors continues to slope down. So the highest part of our property is way up there in the northeast corner, and the property just slopes and slopes. Even though I built this way up several feet high, it slopes down and continues for hundreds of yards in that direction. And so there's probably 300 yards away is where there's a tree line. But the top of that tree line is about here on me. So the winds come out of the northwest here in central New York and are powerful. It's a blessing during these hot days because there's always a nice breeze coming through. But during the winter months and all, everything wants to tilt over and lean that way, just like that willow that I ended up taking that main limb off recently in a recent video. But you can see all of these are somewhat leaning this way, but they're on this ground. Now these have thorns. And the thorns are really tough, and they're invasive. They send up root suckers, and I want more to shoot up. But by coming down here, mowing alongside of it, I keep them from coming up on this side. But I haven't had much trouble with these, you know, sending up suckers at all. I was hoping that they'd even get denser. But these are black locust trees, some of which didn't make it, and I replanted more. We grow and sell the black locust trees here. So, and this is what it looks like when the willow gets taller. This is when the corkscrew willows gets taller before the black locusts do. And so this got up too high, and of course the winds help to put them in on this angled. So this living fence creates a it isn't a barrier to the wildlife. The deer come up and down through here. All the wildlife go through here all the time. But it's excellent for the wind. It's excellent for shade. Beautiful shady paths down in here as well. So this is really good. Now this tree could be incorporated, or it could be planted much tighter together. Now again, this soil is terrible soil right here. We've been building up, it's just gravel here. Other places of the property, when you look around, the soil, sorry about the deer flies here, the soil is much better because we've been working with it for years. Having troubles with deer flies here today. So this is our black locust living fence line here. Now we'll come up here, and this is the area that we built it up with wood chips in here. So there's a much more carbon in here, and not bony gravel going along in here. And this is where we have our fig tree, and that's a component of our living fence as well. And it's not nearly as robust as it's been in the past because I haven't taken care of it, and I never completely covered it last year. I just covered it with leaves. So we won't be getting the fruit off of it, but the wildlife will enjoy it. But there's other trees involved here as well. So this is a black locust here. This is a curly willow here. And down on the bank part here, to help control erosion, are curly willows all along down here where it's about 6 foot drop off. And we have Bach 14 comfrey along in here as well. Elderberry plants in here. And we got some pokeweed here, which I don't really want. Lemon balm as a ground cover here. This is a honey locust right here. Curly willows here towards the base of the living fence line here. Again, more of the and I haven't done any work, so there's some bindweed coming up. So lemon balm here, curly willows, or corkscrew willows, whatever you want to call them. We had some that didn't make it down here. I just transplanted recently. A sugar maple right here. Another big honey locust here. Here. What do we have here? Another maple right here. Lemon balm, Bach 14. The fig trees. These are brown turkey and Chicago hardy. Another thornless honey locust, and I should have said our honey locusts here are all thornless ones. We got an oak tree right here, and these are the curly willows that I just transplanted a few weeks ago. See the new green growth on them? So these are the ones that were root bound in the bushes. Just a couple of weeks ago I transplanted these ones. So you can see they're all recovering. Even though it's hot and dry now, they're all doing pretty darn well. And another elderberry here, another curly willow. So these will all, in just a couple of years, they'll be just as big as the other ones. So the winds come out of the northwest over there and come whipping along here, and I'm protecting this area. Now eventually these will provide more shade if I allow them to grow up, or if I put just a couple of shade masters over here. But I don't know yet. Right now I'm in the process of trying to plan for, you know, my grandkids and great grandkids, and have resources available for them to utilize, not just abundance in food supply, but also financial resources, different tree sources as well in the future. Who knows what they're going to be interested in. So here we go. This is another black locust right here, and see the thorns. Then we'll take a walk up this side over here. So this is a lilac bush here. And so I had a cedar fence, I think 2004, 2003, 2004, we had a company come in and put in this cedar fence down here. They did a great job, but all the pressure treated wood rotted, and so hasn't the cedar. So that's 2004. This is 2025, 21 years. And I'm just not into redoing fencing all over and over again. And that's one of the benefits of a living fence. Now it does require some investment in time and plants, propagating plants or buying the plants initially, but it's worthwhile. So like down here there's some fig trees as well that I planted here. I don't never cover them up. The roots are still viable. So we'll just walk up here. So we've got a walnut, a black walnut right here. This is a elderberry, another elderberry here. And we're just letting everything get growing up in here. And so we got curly willows back there that are really upright. And these are elderberries that are leaning over right now. And of course a deer, and of course this is out of the west. So these can all get pruned back and be trained to go much more straight up and down in the future. But we have to have the windbreaks, the bigger trees, grow up, and they're gradually doing it. Then I'll come through and prune these ones. This is a high bush cranberry bush. I love these. Now, this one the deer pull down. You could see they'd munch on it all the time. They have beautiful white cluster flowers, and they have beautiful red berries. They're another food source. We haven't used them as a food source, but they are just amazing. A remnant of some of the flowers right there. And so these are all high bush cranberry bushes right here. Lots of them. And these will have these big, beautiful berries and all. And there's some lemon balm down in here. Now behind this row here, there are oak trees planted all behind this whole area. And we do it, and some curly willows. So we plant it, we see what's going to survive here. Now again, this whole area has been built up, and if you go back probably 6-8 years ago, this was all tree logs I laid in here. So the property drops off and goes to the neighbor's property, and these are what I called hugelkultur pits. I have hugelkultur terraces, and when I say hugelkultur, I just mean earth-covered mounds of wood. And I don't do it above ground anymore. I just dig trenches and put the logs in the ground. Helps us sequester carbon, enrich the soil, and then later on, a few years later, we could start planting our different trees on them. So again, here's one. You can see the deer munch on this all the time. But these are the high bush cranberry bushes here. And you just can't see the trees behind them yet because they're getting so much shade. This is one of our persimmons. Another persimmons here. It's the all high bush cranberries. More deer are really going right to town on these ones. All these will be big, beautiful berries. Another persimmons. We've got chestnuts and all planted all around in here. It takes time to do this stuff. Now we're going to get up into an area, and again, this is all wood chips on top of the logs right here, so it's going to take time for this all to change. I'll have to work on this area, but these are all black currants in here. Our magnolia tree, some of the limbs broke underneath there. And these are all black currants. Really highly nutritious berries, and we grow them in several parts of the property. The wildlife love them as well. This is one of our oak trees right here. Oak trees. So this is going to replace the wooden fence behind there. And more oak trees. And some of the oak trees here are still pretty small, but black currants in the front. Really highly nutritious berries. And have to dig for the oak trees behind here. But I've got a whole bunch more. This year we're not going to plant more trees. We're just overwhelmed. But any place where the trees aren't there, we want to plant more, right up next to the property line. So again, more of a wind barrier. So I guess please refer to the article for some details about living fences and hedgerows, their benefits. You want to bring in different pollinator species. You want to incorporate integrated pest management, because by having these different habitats, we're bringing in beneficial species that not only pollinate all of our berry and fruit trees and all, but they also help to predatorize those non-beneficial insects that we don't want, that are considered pests. And that's called integrated pest management. I've written articles about that. So by farmscaping, planting our living fences, planting our hedgerows, we can do a whole variety of things. Now, oh yeah, I almost forgot. The Dexter cattle and all. What sort of living fences can be, what sort of plant materials could be used to keep baby lambs and Dexter bulls and cows out? Remember, these are relatively small. cattle. Well, I think in this part of the country, I'd be using black locusts, and I'd be planting them very densely because they're thorny, they get really strong, and I would weave them. The other ones that you can use, I think down south, the Osage oranges, they're hardwood. You know, Native Americans made bows out of them, they made tomahawks out of them, used them as clubs before that to beat their enemies into submission, or beat them to death actually. So the Osage orange, thorny, rough, tough wood, can be woven together. And you know, if other things, if it's more of a moist area that you want to, you know, like if it's wetland area, curly willows, weaving them together as well, instead of you know, the way that you see them growing them up as single trees like I'm doing now. So, you know, I think those things, and you know, I would always encourage people to think beyond that, because having as many pollinator species and integrated pest management by creating the habitats and the diversity of plants in our fences that accomplish more than a barrier to animals or people, and create habitats and nutrient resources for all these other species, I think is important. So I think that's it. You know, I have other places, we have other places that we've started some of our living fences. It takes time, it takes planning. Search the web, do Google images of, you know, search Google and then look at images of the various types of living fences and all, and how it can be woven together, especially with Osage oranges, or the black locust, or curly willow. You can create some really cool living fences. That requires some manual labor. Mine, the ones we've done, well, I just sort of let nature do it, and it's less labor intensive. Every once in a while you got to go in and try and manage things, and you got to replant the things that didn't make it, just like you saw in a recent video here with the corkscrew or curly willows. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope you found something of interest. Go ahead, check out the article. There's much more detail in that, and at mindfullivingsanctuary.com/articles. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye now.